Sending a key employee overseas, it feels like a massive gamble, right? It's this huge opportunity for sure, but also a huge risk. What if you could change that? What if you had a blueprint to turn that gamble into a calculated journey towards success? That's what we're going to dive into, a program designed to do exactly that, to take the Expat Challenge and turn it into a clear path to mastery.
And let's be clear, this isn't just some fluffy feel-good thing about being comfortable in a new country. No. The research is totally unambiguous. An employee's ability to adjust has a direct, measurable impact on their job performance. So the crucial takeaway here is that getting this adjustment piece right, it's not a nice to have. It's an absolute bottom-line business imperative.
So it turns out the expat journey follows this really predictable psychological pattern. You've got 4 phases. First up is the honeymoon phase, right? Everything's new, it's exciting, but then comes the shock. That's when the cultural differences really hit you. From there, you move into acceptance as you start to figure things out. And the ultimate goal? Mastery. The whole point of the program we're about to walk through is to get an employee and their family through these phases as fast and as smoothly as humanly possible.
All right, so here's the game plan. We'll kick things off with the big challenge itself. Then we'll walk through the whole journey. Getting ready to go, the first few steps abroad, how to really integrate and perform, and finally, how to get to that mastery level.
Okay, so let's get right to the core problem. Think of it like this. When someone moves, there's this unavoidable dip in their performance. It's almost guaranteed, especially during that shock phase. The whole goal of this system? It's to make that performance dip as shallow as possible and as short as possible. We want to get them out of that valley and up to the mastery peak where they can really start delivering.
Now, this is the part that I find fascinating. A huge amount of the work happens before anyone even packs a bag. The whole philosophy here is to be proactive. It's about tackling that shock and acceptance phase head-on, but in a controlled environment, before the employee is a world away from everything they know.
And this isn't just random. It all unfolds on a super carefully sequenced timeline. So 2 months out, you've got a financial screening. Then, at 6 weeks, the first training session kicks in, all about roles and benefits. A month to go, that's when we do adaptability screening and another training session on interactions. And finally, at 3 weeks out, a baseline performance appraisal. See how each step just builds on the one before it? It's all incredibly strategic.
So you're probably asking, why these specific screenings? Well, there's a really good reason for each one, and it's all backed by research. The financial check? Turns out money stress is a huge reason people bail on assignments. The adaptability screening, that helps you spot potential cultural clashes before they happen, the kind of stuff that can make someone feel like a total outsider. And that performance baseline? Oh, that's absolutely crucial. It gives you a benchmark, so if their performance drops later, you know right away it's probably an adjustment issue and you can jump in to help.
All right, training session 1. This is all about getting 2 things straight, the why and the what. The why is all about motivation. You show them the awesome career paths of people who've done this before, and you lay out the compensation package crystal clear. Then you tackle the what, which is all about getting rid of ambiguity, because that's a huge stressor. You give them a super clear role definition, show them exactly where they fit in the org chart, and spell out precisely what decisions they have the power to make. No guesswork.
Okay, this next point is a big one. It's so important. Training session 2 isn't just for the employee. Their spouse has to be there. I mean, the research on this is overwhelming. Time and time again, we see that if the spouse isn't happy and can't adjust, the entire assignment is in jeopardy. It's that simple. Their buy-in and their successful integration are completely non-negotiable.
So you might be thinking, how on earth do you train for something as vague as culture? Well, you make it concrete. You turn it into data. This is a perfect example. Using a framework like Hofstede's cultural dimensions, you stop talking about vague feelings and start looking at actual scores. You can literally see on a chart, okay, my home country is low on power distance, but the host country is high. All of a sudden, you have a specific, tangible thing to wrap your head around and prepare for. It's brilliant. And it's not just high-level theory. It gets down to the nitty-gritty, practical stuff. I love this example. In China, you leave a little bit of food on your plate to show your host was generous. You do that in the Netherlands, it's considered wasteful and rude. It seems like a tiny detail, right? But these are the little things that build up. Getting these right is the difference between fitting in and, well, not. It's this kind of super specific advice that stops big misunderstandings before they even start.
And here's another proactive piece. The program doesn't wait until they've landed to start building relationships. Nope.
A full month before they leave, they start having weekly video calls with their new team. Think about how huge that is. It means when they finally walk into that office, they're not a total stranger. They're already a familiar face, a colleague. They've already started building that rapport and that support network. It's a game changer.
All right, so all that prep work is in the bag. The plane has landed. Now what? This next phase is all about making sure that when they step off that plane, there's a whole support system ready and waiting to catch them.
And just look at what's waiting for them. Right away, the biggest headache, finding a place to live, is almost gone. Here are 5 vetted options, done. Then they get a cultural mentor. And here's the genius part. This person is not in their reporting line. That creates a safe space where they can ask the stupid questions without worrying about looking bad. The company even gives the mentor a stipend to take the family out. And maybe the best part? That first week is a total no-work zone. It's all about just settling in and breathing. Amazing.
Okay, so they've landed, they've settled in a bit, now the program shifts gears. We're moving past the just survive phase. Now it's all about giving them the tools they need to actually thrive, and not just the employee, but the whole family.
Session 3 is where we get into deep integration. And just notice how much of this is focused on the family. We're talking heat maps showing where other coworkers live so they don't feel isolated. Lists of schools and daycares that colleagues already use and trust. And this is huge. Actual career counseling and job resources for the spouse. This isn't just lip service. It's a real, holistic commitment to the entire family's well-being. Because everyone knows that's directly tied to the employee's success.
The final formal session actually happens on their first day of work. But here's the twist. It's not about cramming in more information. It's more like a dress rehearsal for a play. They physically walk through the office, they get introduced to everyone properly, face to face, and they basically rehearse what their role is going to be. It's all about bridging that gap between what they learned in training and the actual reality of the workplace. It cements their spot on the team from the word go. So, okay, we've seen all this incredible support, right? From screenings before they even leave to a full-on rehearsal on day 1, but what's the end goal here? What is all of this really building towards? The end goal is one word, mastery. But mastery isn't some finish line you cross and you're done. That's why this final part of the program is so important. It's about creating a continuous loop of feedback and support. The goal isn't just to get them to the mastery phase, it's to make sure they stay there. And they do this with a really smart, structured evaluation cycle. You've got monthly job satisfaction surveys, perfect for catching small problems before they become big ones. There's also a monthly questionnaire about their role, which is really just for them to encourage some self-reflection. Then twice a year, you have the formal performance appraisals. And that's when they pull out that baseline we talked about way back at the beginning, so they can actually measure the progress. It creates this incredibly clear picture of their entire journey. So if you take one thing away from all this, let it be this. A program like this does so much more than just help someone move their stuff to a new country. It fundamentally transforms what is normally a super high-risk, high-stress assignment into a supported, well-defined journey. And by doing that, you just dramatically stack the odds of success in favor of everyone, the employee, their family, and of course, the company. And that really leads us with one final big question to think about. When you send one of your best people on an international assignment, you're basically sending them on a hero's journey. It's going to be filled with challenges, but also amazing opportunities. So the question is your organization preparing its heroes for that journey? Are you giving them the map, the tools, and the support they need to succeed? Or are you just pointing them toward the unknown and kind of hoping for the best?